This video will change the way you use cursor forever. If you'll watch this video until end, I can guarantee you will be able to increase your productivity at least by 70%. We all love cursor, and frankly, we are using cursor in almost all of the major projects in our company. But the problem is, most of the times, we just don't use cursor the right way. We just don't use the maximum potential of cursor. If you're a complete beginner and you have not used cursor before, this is going to be a completely beginner friendly tutorial. So don't worry, just follow this video and I can guarantee you by the end of this video, you'll be master of cursor. Before we start, please don't forget to subscribe this YouTube channel and please hit that like button. Our goal is to reach 1000 likes for this video. Alright, first thing first, if you have not downloaded cursor on your computer, just come to this website and click on download, and then you can start using cursor for free. First thing that you're going to learn is setting up a project in cursor the right way. Doesn't matter if you're developing a Next.js application or a Python project or maybe a mobile application, you need to follow this guideline to set up an empty project inside cursor to avoid any sort of bugs. So if you have already installed cursor on your computer, just open cursor. This is how it will look like when you will open it for the first time. You need to just choose a folder where you need to create your project directory. Simply click on create folder and then choose a folder. I have just created an empty folder called cursor tricks and I'll just choose that particular folder. Okay, here's the trick now. Most of the times what we'll do, we'll just ask cursor composer to create an empty project for us. That's a wrong approach. Of course, it can actually run command for you. It can create an empty directory for you, but still you need a better approach here to avoid any sort of bugs, because most of the times it will just get stuck in creating an empty project and then installing all of the dependencies for you. So what's the best approach? Instead of using cursor composer to create your empty project, you need to use your terminal and create project using your terminal. Now let's suppose you are creating a web application in Next.js or React, or you're creating a mobile application in React Native. You need to go to documentation of Next.js if you're using Next.js, or maybe React Native if you're using React Native. Whatever framework you're using, go to the documentation and find the installation guide. And in here you will find a prompt to create an empty project for you, because I'm creating a Next.js application. So this is a prompt to create an empty Next.js application, and because it has mentioned latest, so that means it will create an empty Next.js application in the latest version of Next.js, which is like 15 point something. So just copy this prompt from here and then paste that prompt inside your terminal. If you don't know where is your terminal, make sure that you have clicked on this button over here, and then if you cannot see your terminal here, you can simply just like start a new terminal over here. Just click on that plus button and your terminal will start. After that, just paste your prompt here and then just click on enter. Now what it will do, it will actually start creating your project. It will ask you what you want to name your project. If you want to do that directly inside cursor composer, you can do that as well, but there is like a 50% chance that you will actually end up having an error during installation of dependencies or like any other like project setup. This is the right approach to create your project, so please use terminal always to create your project and install dependencies wherever required. All right, let's just name your project. So let's just name it as cursor tape. Okay, make sure you're not using any capitals here because it won't accept capital letter here. So then click on enter. After that, it will ask you, do you want to use TypeScript? Yes. Do you want to use ESLint? Yes. Do you want to use Tailwind CSS? Do you want to use inside like create your code inside your source directory? Yes. Do you want to use your app router recommended? Yes. And then turbo pack? No. And then after that, no. And then that's it. So whatever default options they were, just like go with the default options in the beginning. Now what it is going to do, it is actually going to install dependencies based on your selection, whatever you have got, and now it's actually going to install dependencies for you. Now again, you might be thinking that I just want to go through this hassle. I just ask cursor composer to set up project for me. But again, as I said, that there's a high chance that you'll end up having an bug, an error while installing dependencies, or maybe any other problem just to set up your project. You can totally do that way, but this is the right way. This is the right approach to set up your project manually using your terminal. Okay, now it has installed these dependencies for us, and now it has created this directory, which is called cursor tips. This is our project directory. And if you see, this cursor tricks is actually a root. This is not a root directory. This is our project root directory. This is another folder inside. Our project folder is inside this cursor tricks folder. Now, most of the times, what mistake we make and what we start using from here cursor composer, and we'll actually start asking cursor composer some questions and then like start making changings right here. there's a high chance that Cursor Composer will actually navigate through your directory and start making changes in this directory rather than using your cursor tips directory. So this will again, and like you will end up like having so many errors again. It will just like maybe install a fresh Next.js inside your root directory, like the parent of your root directory, and then you'll just like end up creating a new project again. So that is one more problem that we'll actually gonna face. Now to avoid that, what you need to do, you need to open your root folder, your root project folder directly inside Cursor. So to do that, you just click on like open folder and then go to your root. This is not your root folder, this is your root folder. Just go there and then click on select folder. What it will do, it will just like open it like as your root folder. This way Cursor Composer will not make any mistakes, and whenever you'll ask it to make any changings, it will just make those changings directly inside your project. Now since our project is set up, now you might be thinking that okay, we are good to start development, we can straight away just like start building now. But hold on, there are a few more steps that you need to do if you want Cursor Composer to perform in its best possible and most efficient way. Right after setting up your project, next thing that you need to do, you need to tell Cursor about what you are building. You need to create a requirements document and then add that inside your project folder. So whenever you are actually going to add any new features, or whenever actually Cursor is writing code, it should understand what exactly are you building. Now to do that, I usually use DeepSeek. You can use ChatGPT, but I think DeepSeek is actually much better in writing your software requirements. First of all, DeepSeek is absolutely free to use, and secondly, it has this deep think reasoning model, which is DeepSeek R1, and then after that, it also has this search functionality. So whatever you're actually going to develop, it will go through all of the websites on Google and all of the information that it will actually find on different search engines, and then it will actually suggest you how you should develop this application, what tech stack you should use, or whatever you want to like add into your application. It will actually verify that information from the existing search engines. Let's suppose we are going to develop a very complex application, maybe like a complete team management tool, or like complete project management tool, or maybe a complete CMS. Whatever you want to develop, just let's share that idea inside DeepSeek and then ask DeepSeek to create a very detailed document, a requirements document for us. I want to develop a most advanced AI-based project management tool. This tool will actually help me to manage all of my projects, all of my teams. Most of my teams work remotely. I want AI functionalities in this project. I want all of the finance functionalities inside this project to manage all of the financial activities of my team. I want to use DeepSeek API key to add AI functionalities. Please write a very detailed requirements document. Alright, so once you have like explained what you want to develop, make sure that you have clicked on DeepSeek R1 and then search button. After that, just click on this enter button here. So now it will actually just create a very detailed requirements document for you. If you want to use ChatGPT or you want to use like O1 model, just use whatever you want to use. But this is how like you can create a very basic requirements document. This is not very detailed. I mean, we can create like functionalities document separately, then we can create like other like separate different documents. It will shortlist all of the functionalities that you want, and then it is good enough to start and to like share with Cursor that what exactly are we developing. Alright, so once it has finished creating that, just copy all of this text from here, and then let's go to our project inside Cursor. Now inside your root directory, create a new file, name this file as requirements, requirements.md. Alright, so requirements.md. So just press enter, paste all of those requirements, and now you got all of those requirements in here, right here inside your project. So now what is the benefit here? So you can actually tag this requirements document whenever you want to tag, like whenever you want to like refer to this particular document, you can simply just refer to this document, ask Cursor Composer or Cursor AI agent to like make changings or like to add this particular functionality. It will have the entire context about your project, and then it will actually understand that, and then it will actually start developing from there. So now you might be thinking that, okay, we are good to start now, let's start developing. No, not right now. You need to add a couple of more steps before you can actually start development. Now next step is actually creating a Cursor rules file and set some rules for Cursor and telling Cursor define character of Cursor AI agent so it can actually perform based on that character that we're actually giving it. To do that, you can simply just come to this website website, which is cursor.directory. This is completely free to use. And then what you can do, you can simply just look for what kind of project we're developing. We're developing a Next.js project. If you are developing like a Python project or React project, or maybe like something in C# or maybe something in Expo or React Native, you could like, there are all of these things available here for whatever you are developing. So we are developing Next.js project. Simply just click on that. After that, you can simply just choose one of these. These are just like prompts. You're actually telling to Cursor that you are a senior front-end developer, an expert in React Native, Next.js, JavaScript, TypeScript, and all of this stuff is actually telling it. So what we need to do, we need to find the best prompt. Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna update that prompt, and then based on our project, we can actually update that. So I think the first one was actually focused more towards front-end developer. This one is actually you are an expert developer proficient in TypeScript, React Native, React and JS. So let's just copy this prompt from here, and then let's go back to DeepSeek. I'm creating a cursor rules file inside my project. Here is the current version of this file. I want you to update the content of this file based on our project requirements. So because it has already written requirements for our project, now we are actually giving it cursor rules file. So now it will actually update this file based on our requirements. Once you've got the updated version of your cursor rules file, just come back to cursor, click on new file, and then now create dot cursor rules, rules dot cursor rules. Just create this file, paste that content here, and now Cursor will actually start creating your code or like create your project based on these rules or these kind of, you can say, set of instructions that you have mentioned for Cursor. By the way, if you go to your settings here, and there is a rules for AI, and you can find the Cursor rules file that we actually set for Cursor, you can find that file here as well. So now are we good to start developing and start writing some code? No, not yet, because now we are actually going to share documentations with Cursor. So whatever tech stack you are using, let's suppose you are developing your application in Next.js in our case, and then you are actually building your backend in Supabase or MongoDB or in any other platform, and then you're using something like Shadcn and Tailwind CSS for the front-end development. You need to provide all of those documentations to Cursor, because Cursor needs updated documentation to make sure that whatever code it writes is actually compatible with the latest version of that particular framework. To do that, first of all, you need to understand your tech stack. What tech stack are you using to develop your project? You can go back to DeepSeek and ask DeepSeek to share tech stack with you to develop this project. So we are in here in DeepSeek. Let's just ask it to share a tech stack for this project. All right, so DeepSeek has shared this tech stack, which is like overwhelming for now, but let's not like go into that much detail what it has shared, because it has shared about like next. Let's just like use Next.js because we are already using that. Then it has shared, I think, for state management something, and then for backend it has shared like Next.js API routes, Supabase. So I think Supabase, and then Stripe, then DeepSeek API key that we're gonna use. For database, we are going to use PostgreSQL, use inside Supabase. So I think that will be covered inside Supabase documentation. Then we are going to use Prisma as well. Then so it has like shared some tech stack. So what you need to do, you need to simply just like shortlist what you are actually going to use inside your project. You can like ask further questions from DeepSeek, and then actually one by one what you want to do, you can simply just, let's suppose the first documentation that we need inside your tech stack is actually this Next.js documentation. So simply just go to your Next.js documentation, copy URL of your documentation, copy it from here, and then go to your settings tab inside your Cursor project. So go to settings, then go to features in here, and then scroll down, and then there'll be an option to add a new documentation. Click on that, and then you can just paste that URL that you just copied from there, enter here, and then in here you just like write Next.js docs and press confirm. I have already added Next.js documentation. So in here you can see like I have added documentation of almost every possible tech that I'm gonna use out there. So this is for like, so once you actually share documentation for one project, it will be saved inside Cursor's memory. So it will actually, Cursor can actually recall from the previous projects that you shared that documentation here, because it actually shares documentation in its own shared memory. So I have like the tech stack for Firebase, for Redux, for React Native, for OneSignal, for Firebase, for Tailwind CSS, for Brevo emails, and like almost anything that I actually ever used to develop anything using Cursor. You need to just repeat this process for all of your tech stack that you're actually going to use. So let's suppose if you're going to use Stripe as well. So just go to Stripe and then find the Stripe documentation. Here is the Stripe documentation. Simply just copy it from here and then directly paste it inside Cursor documentations. Just repeat this process again and again to add all of the documentation, and then finally you are ready to start coding. Now our project is fully ready to start. Next thing that you need to do, you need to just like start asking Cursor Composer now to like start developing this project for us. One way to give prompt to your Cursor agent, you can just like copy all of your requirements document content and then paste that inside Cursor agent. This is actually the worst possible way that you can actually start creating code or like ask Cursor agent to like start coding for you, because it will actually get confused because there are so many features to develop inside that requirements document. So the best approach is actually to give it a shorter prompt and then give it a context of that project inside your prompt, and then give it a smaller task, maybe like create a basic page like on your home page like or something. Create a very short feature first and then finish that and then move to next step. Practically, if you want a shorter prompt, you can come back to DeepSeek and then you can start asking DeepSeek that I'm developing this project inside Cursor. Just explain this project in a very short text. I'm going to develop this project inside Cursor AI. I want you to create a very short prompt to give to Cursor AI. This prompt should just give an overview about the project. So basically it's a very shorter version of your requirements document. So now it has created a shorter prompt which has a create an AI driven project management tool with integrated financial features and the blah blah blah. And you need to simply just copy this from here. Let's come back to Cursor and make sure that you have selected your requirements document. You can simply just paste that. Now again, I think that this is too much for Cursor for the first prompt. So what you need to do, you need to simply just maybe not use what you have created using DeepSeek. So what you need to do, you need to simply just click on this agent option, and then let's just explain Cursor, ask Cursor to go through the requirements document and then actually start development. Please go through the requirements document. We are developing a project. I want you to understand this requirements document and then create a very basic page to start with. Rest of the functionalities we will develop step by step. So now what it will do, it will just create a basic page for your AI based project management tool, and then it will just like scan your directory. Most probably it will just like edit this page.tsx file, and then it will actually just go through that, and then it will not get confused. It will not just like go mad like creating so many features, adding stripe functionality in the first prompt. So it will not do that. Just like change some things in this page.tsx file. So this is what it does. So this is what you need to do. Once you have done that, once you test that, then move to next functionality. Okay, I have just run this project and it has created a very basic page in here, and now you can actually ask it to like make some changings, or if you have a design for your project, you can then share that design with Cursor AI agent and then like start building from there. Now next step, it's a very important step. Let's suppose if you have a design for your landing page or for any of the pages that you're designing, and now you want Cursor AI to like replicate that design for you. Easiest way is you directly share that image that you have for that landing page or for that design, share that with Cursor and then like ask Cursor to replicate that. That's the easiest possible way. But this way we'll not get the best results. To get the best results, we are going to use something like CopyCoder. Now CopyCoder.ai is a paid tool, but it works fine. But if you don't want to use CopyCoder, we can use our most favorite DeepSeek or maybe ChatGPT for using ChatGPT, and then we can actually ask ChatGPT or DeepSeek to convert that design and then convert that into a prompt that we can actually use inside Cursor. So back to DeepSeek, we are going to give it a screenshot of our reference. This is a reference. I just took a screenshot using a snipping tool, and you can simply just use something like go full page. Just click on this and then it will actually take a screenshot of this entire website. And after that, you just need to explain to DeepSeek that I'm going to create a landing page with this style. Now create a very detailed prompt about this design, about each and every single element which is being used in this particular screenshot, and then it will actually now create like all of the color guide, all of the text guide, all of the font guide and everything. It will actually do that for you. I'm going to create a landing page for my project. Please see the attached screenshot. I want to create my landing page exactly like this screenshot. A very detailed guideline about design and all of the UI elements in this screenshot, especially text, background colors, and other details. simply just press enter, and then it will actually create a very detailed prompt for you that you can actually then use that, ask Cursor to create your landing page accordingly, and Cursor will actually create that for you. If you see, it is actually creating this detailed prompt where it is actually giving all of these different details about this landing page. It is giving details about hero section, it is giving the color details, the text details, all of the call to action buttons, dashboard section, search bar, and all of these details is actually giving with the color guideline, and it is actually even suggesting use tailwind CSS for this, and then like it is giving a very detailed guideline. Even it has created like these different call to action buttons, these different headlines, these different taglines. It has created all of that. So yeah, these are my secrets that I have just shared with you. Make sure that you make good use of these secrets. There are plenty more secrets that I will actually reveal step by step, but if you like this video and if you have any suggestions, please do tell me in the comment section. I will actually then next time create a new video with new suggestions. Please don't forget to subscribe this YouTube channel. Our goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers before 30th of June 2025. I see you next video. Bye bye.